Hi, I'm DNR fish biologist Max Wolter, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about pike, harvesting pike, and showing you how to do a Y-bone removal. Obviously this is a northern pike. We have them in a lot of our lakes, and in a lot of places they're a lot more abundant than we'd like them to be, so we're encouraging people to harvest more pike. But one of the things that gets in the way and discourages people sometimes is that they have a Y-bone. And I'll show you what that is and how to get it out of there so that you can get a really nice cut of northern pike and you don't need to be scared about that Y-bone as an issue. So this is a pretty average pike, especially if you're thinking about a lake like the Chippewa Flowage. This is 22 inches. That's kind of right in line with what people are typically harvesting. You can catch a lot of fish out there this size. And you can do this technique on pike smaller than this too. I've filleted them down to even 15, 16 inches and you can get a decent sized fillet. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through the steps here to get really nice boneless northern pike. And there's a variety of different techniques for doing this, by the way. I'm just going to show you the way that I use. So first cut right behind the bone on the gill plate here. This is called the opercle bone if you're interested in some biology. This is what we actually use to determine the age of pike. So just make that first cut about halfway down, and I spin it around, straighten her out, and then kind of go along and unzip the back. You're staying right above the spine. This is very similar to how you'd fillet just about any other species of fish. The Y-bone part doesn't really come in until you get this slab of fillet removed. And then just kind of carefully peel. I go around the ribs. Some people cut through, especially if you have an electric fillet knife. You can cut through pretty easily. But then you have to take the ribs off later, so I just go around them right away. See, that's pretty easy so far. Ribs on a pike are pretty short. They only go about halfway down the belly, which is kind of nice. You can see this one's a female, and she's already starting to develop eggs for next spring. It's October right now at the time we're filming this, so maybe we'll look and see what's in her stomach after we get this off too. So then I just cut along the bottom, right above the pelvic fins, and we got our big slab of meat. Now, this is where things get a little different than other fish species because the Y-bones are embedded in this slab. A Y-bone is actually kind of shaped like this, so that's the Y shape, with the long part going towards the top of the fillet and the short part going this way. So the way I handle this is I actually make two different cuts. And to start, you got to find where that Y-bone's poking out. You may not be able to see it on the camera, but you can feel it with your knife tip and certainly with your fingertips too. It's right here where the tip of the knife is. So I'm going to make one cut above that, one cut to cut the Y-bone out, and then peel the rest of the fillet off. Ready? Here we go. So I find our Y-bone, I go about 1/4 inch above it, and just kind of angle away. And when you feel that part of the bone out there, you kind of go along it. See these? Those are our bones. We left them in there. You can hear them even. And then you go down the back, making that kind of same angled cut. And this will be the first piece of good boneless meat you're going to get off this fish. It's kind of an odd shaped piece of fillet, but you can do some interesting things with this. In my household, we kind of save all these separately and we'll make fish tacos with this because they're really long and stringy, so they bread up really well and they get really crispy. So those are perfectly good cuts. Alright, so we've still got our Y-bone in here. It's right in this section. So now I'm going to go 1/4 inch below it, kind of cutting up at an angle towards the top, and I'll do that down the side of the fish. And it actually, because of kind of the way the muscle sets up, it's a really natural cut. The knife kind of just wants to go through there, and you only need to go down to where the tail kind of starts to get narrow. The Y-bone ends about here. This is what the biologist would call the peduncle, which is kind of a fun word, right? So now we can just kind of slice that off. This piece right here has got all our bones in it. So, you know, you can toss this, you can use it for fertilizer. If you pickle fish, you can pickle it, and the bones in there will not be a problem at all. They'll basically disintegrate. Just kind of set that aside. The rest of this is just like any other cut of fish that you'd have, walleye, panfish, whatever. You just peel it off the skin, and there will be no bones. Pretty simple. Do this on the edge of the table. It's always a little easier. Now, a lot of people say, you know, it's not worth it to harvest small pike, and those are actually the ones we're really encouraging people to keep. An 18-inch pike actually has the same amount of meat when you fillet it this way as 3 8-inch bluegill. So if you're keeping your full limit of 5 pike, even if they're very small, it's basically like keeping 15 extra panfish. So obviously that's a very nice cut. You can do a lot of things with that. You can chop it up into sections, fry it whole, whatever. And that's just half the meat. So you can check out and see what's in the belly here too. It's always an interesting thing. Oh, yep, perch. Very common thing for pike to be eating, and that's a big reason why we're encouraging people to harvest more of them, is because they're eating a lot of the same food that we would like to have out there for walleye and muskie and other species that we prioritize a little bit more on the flowage. And by reducing pike numbers, there's also going to be more food to go around for the pike that remain in the lake, so we should hopefully see bigger ones in the future. So thanks for watching. Get out there, harvest a bunch of pike. I know that the property owners and resort owners associations are working on some kind of competitions and raffles and things like that to incentivize it. So hopefully there's a lot of reason for you to do it in addition to all the benefits that we can have on the fishery. Thanks.